Oh. Sorry. As you can see, I fell a ton on that intro. That climb is called Sleepwalker at Pointless Crag in eastern Idaho. I've done that climb before. I have made it to the top, but I never really mastered that climb, which to me in rock climbing, if you can't continually and frequently do the same climb, have you really mastered or done that climb? In today's video, I'm going to share with you what to do when failure is final. Pointless Crag is a beautiful place in eastern Idaho, right on the Snake River, which is a river famous for fishing. We would go there 3-4 times a week. I'd have a buddy. My buddy in the video's name is Nick. I have another friend named Esteban who I'd go with frequently. My wife Sam, she would belay for me. She wasn't a big fan of climbing outdoors, which I totally respect. And then a buddy of mine from college named Dwayne as well. We would go to Pointless Crag as much as we could during the warm summer months and some of the cold wintry ones before the snow hit, and do as much climbing as we possibly could. That climb specifically is called Sleepwalker. I didn't start on that climb. I started on rocking my sports bra and some other easier climbs that are sport climbing where you can lead climb. In that video, I'm lead climbing, which means you have the rope below you. It's not on the top hooked up, kind of hoisting you up as you go. You're clipping in as you go, which is where you see me here clipping in and climbing. Sleepwalker was my favorite climb because it was extremely challenging. I got to a level of rock climbing where I could climb pretty much anything indoors constantly and frequently at about a 511C, 511D. Now for those of you who aren't common or know about rock climbing, that's really hard. The scaling of rock climbing is 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", 5'12", and so on. But within those numbers you have 5'9", A, B, C, D, 5'10", A, B, C, D, 5'11", A, B, C, D, and so on. So you have 4 letters and then the numbers progress. This climb on 2 different places, one notes it as a 5'11", the other notes it as a 5'10", D. When you climb outdoors, it is much more challenging than climbing indoors for numerous reasons. The conditions, the type of rock you're on, the temperature, your belayer. There are so many factors that go into climbing outdoors that you might be able to climb a 5'11", indoors, no problem, but a 5'11", is way more challenging. As you can see in this video, I constantly fall. I continually try to get back up and go again and again and again, but I just can't do it. I had taken some time off because it was winter and it was starting to warm up and snow had melted, but the challenge with rock climbing is you have to constantly and frequently go to build those muscles, build that muscle memory, and continue to condition yourself to be better and do better. Now, why is this failure final for me? This failure is final because I moved away from Idaho. I graduated college, I live in Georgia, and in reality, I don't see myself going back to do that climb really anytime soon. I'm not rock climbing here because there's not really any rock climbing to do here in Georgia. If there is any, it's in North Georgia, and I don't have the time nor gear to go up there and do that. Rock climbing takes a lot of patience and skill. Now, it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, but I'm naturally good at it. Not because of my diet or my ability, of my exercise routine. I have always just been a climber. Ever since I was little, my forearms were extremely strong and I was able to climb things. I didn't realize that until I started to go to school in Idaho and tried rock climbing. Tried it outdoors with some friends and I fell in love immediately. Rock climbing teaches you humility, strength training, dietetics. There's so many aspects and elements of rock climbing that you have to know in order to become the rock climber that you aspire to be, if you aspire to be one. That being said, when I started dating my wife, Sam, she taught me that what you consume really impacts how you perform. So I started eating healthier and doing more healthy things like exercising, running, and eating to help better myself in this facet. Now in rock climbing, you always have to have 2 people unless you're free soloing, but I am no Alex Honnold. There's an aspect of rock climbing known as belaying. You have to have a belayer. He's the guy in the video who's holding the rope as I climb up and catching me when I fall. As you can see, sometimes he's flying forward and scooching and trying to save my life so I don't fall. He's there as a support system, as a guide, and as a helper. You belay for someone, they belay for you. It's kind of a trade-off. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. When the belayer is belaying, he's trying to help you as much as he possibly can, giving you enough slack, keeping you tight when you feel like you're gonna fall, or when he feels like you're gonna fall, telling you where you can go. On this climb, he can't help you where you're going because it's not visible from the ground. You have to make your own path. But constant communication is necessary. When you are not climbing and you are belaying, it is very important to be that support system, not only so that you can keep that person alive and well, but so that you appreciate that belayer and they know how you climb when you're up on that wall in replacement to them. A lot of people say when you fail, you must try again. In this case, failure is final. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't go, I could if I really wanted to. It's not that important to me. With that in mind, we must realize that there are limits, there are boundaries. If you fail at something and there's no way for you to go back and make it right, what lessons can you take from that and apply to your life? Where I'm at now, I've started a new job, we've moved to Georgia, we've settled in, and we're starting to think, what's our next step? And I think back to this climb. Okay, I failed, and I can't go back to finish it. I'm not failing in life now, we're just taking the steps, where sometimes it feels like failure. Sometimes you fall off that wall and you think, I'm never gonna have another opportunity, but you grab that rope and you scooch back up like I do. In life, when you get knocked down, you have to get back up. It might not be with that same challenge or that same rock climb, but when you find yourself with another challenge, with another beast or monster in front of you, what are you going to take from that previous failure and apply to your life to take on that challenge, to take on that monster and conquer it this time? When you're rock climbing and you can't always see your next hold, like in a scenario like in this climb, you never know what you're reaching into. And in life, sometimes you take a step and you don't know what comes next. What's the consequence? At Pointless Crag, there are tons of rattlesnakes in the summer. And it almost became a fear of mine that inhibited my climbing so that I couldn't climb comfortably or confidently because I never knew what I was reaching my hand up into. Was I going to grab up and there be a snake there and bite my hand because it felt threatened? When you take a move across the country, what do you expect? There could be repercussions. There could be consequences that aren't always positive. Vice versa. You could, with all hope and might, reach up for that last ledge, make a good connection, pull yourself up and complete the climb. It can end positively. In the situations in this video, as you know, as funny as it may be, I fall. Sometimes we have to be willing to take that fall. You don't always have to succeed every time you try, as long as you set yourself up and build that path and that foundation to do better next time, whether it be with that same task or a different task or something that someone else is working on, and you're the belayer in that instance. You're there to help them. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. It was one of those where I had an old video again and I wanted to kind of apply it to life. See how we can take scenarios in our life and apply them to where we are now. What lessons can we take from past experiences so that we can be better and do better? If you guys like this content, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification button so you can get notified when we post videos. I keep trying to do 2 a week. I do appreciate you guys for subscribing. If you guys do have any friends or family that would benefit or they'd like content like this, let them know, send them a link, ask them to subscribe. That'd be great. I hope you guys have a wonderful week.